Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is September 1st, 2021, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, big tech tapering off after making new record highs yesterday. But first, looking at the major economic events of the day. All day today, OPEC meetings happening should affect the price of oil. We're going to take a look at that. And at 4 o'clock South African time out of the United States, ISM Manufacturing PMI number coming out. That's an inflationary number. It is very important as well in light of the atmosphere that we're currently in. Now, looking at the various markets in terms of the Forex symbols, the euro and the GBP tapering off a little bit versus the dollar, while the Aussie remains steady. In terms of the indices, the Nasdaq is steady after retracing a little bit, and the Dow Jones pretty much unchanged from yesterday. In terms of commodities, both oil and gold remaining unchanged. And the stocks, FAANG stocks tapering off after yesterday's new record highs. And lastly, Bitcoin jumping off of that support at 46,000. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So you guys know that I like to categorize different type of symbols based on their strength or their weaknesses. And right now we're looking at the Eur Usd at a 4-hour chart. And you can see pretty much a nice tapering off from 1841 down to 1796, a 50 pip retracement. And it's hard to predict these, okay? I mean, ultimately, on a 4-hour chart, we're still above the 30-day moving average. So we're still a bit stronger, even though we crossed over the 8-day moving average. And the daily, we're still hanging above it as well. So with that said, okay, this is still, all intents and purposes, still an upwards momentum kind of situation. Okay, so you wouldn't be completely irresponsible if you start buying into this move right here. Okay, and the anticipation is going to continue going up higher. Now, this is also as long as the Dow Jones continues to make new record highs. That's how the dollar gets weaker. Okay, but it's the first one to go down. It's the most volatile one to come down versus the dollar, because when we look at the Aussie USD, which probably is a better play, because look at it, didn't even retrace. It might have taken a little bit of a breather, but it didn't retrace. Okay, and that's also because Aussie dollar is coming out with some economic data later today. But that's, you know, all intents and purposes, it's still strong. That's the point that I'm trying to come across. Now, if we look at the GBP USD, you know, that's a daily. Let's look at a 4-hour chart. So it did retrace, okay, and it did break that moving average, whereas in the euro and the Aussie USD, it didn't. So this is, I guess you could say, relatively more weaker. I don't know if you could really say that, because, I mean, we're not trading in a massive range, but in a decent range, okay, altogether. But we did hit that 138, which was an important number, but that is a significant retracement and significant resistance level, meaning it's not going to break above 138. It's going to take a lot more volume, a lot more momentum in order to do that. Then we look at commodities, pretty much unchanged. I mean, this is 1815, and we're looking at the price of gold, and gold is still, all intents and purposes, also in a upwards momentum. Now, there is a resistance at 1828, so just be aware of that. Looking at oil, we're pretty much flatlining here. I mean, over the past few days, we've been between 69.50 and 68.95 after our V formation, so we're good, okay? Which means basically, unless there's either surplus of oil or, you know, the OPEC countries are looking to taper off some of the production, I don't think there's going to be a major change in oil, but you never know, okay? So just be aware of that going into a number, especially later today. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, also really much unchanged here. Look at that 1-hour chart, pretty much flatlining up here on the top range here, and going into the last week of August, first week of September. Monday is Memorial Day, so that's, Labor Day. So that's going to be a national holiday in the United States on Monday. So with that said, just be aware of it. Okay, it's officially the last day of summer in the U.S. And so this is a turning point, because, you know, we start trading, picking up trading right afterwards. I'm looking at the Nasdaq. It retraced yesterday, but we're not that far off from our all-time highs, only 30 points. So it's really, you know, it's remaining very steady. Then we look at the individual stocks. Apple retraced just a little bit yesterday, about 20 cents to $1, after, you know, hitting new record highs at 150. If we look at Microsoft, also tapering off from 303 down to 301. Amazon remained strong and actually pushed higher. Okay, so there's rotation in the markets again, where, you know, in terms of Microsoft and Apple, that were taking the new highs. Now it's Amazon that's remaining strong, and Facebook, okay, remaining kind of strong here at 13,378-ish level. Also retracing just a bit, but that's not a retracement, okay? That's just a breather. Now looking at Bitcoin, all right? Beautiful setup here, 46,600. You can't write this up, okay? I drew this line already a couple of days, okay? So this line has been up here, and no secret here, okay? 46.60, that's all you got to play, and you could have made a nice $600 move, okay, just in a morning of trade, just having picked up 46,660 in anticipation going to bounce off of it. So, you know, ultimately it's also crossing on the 1 hour chart. Let's see on the 4 hour chart, not very close to that 48,200. On the daily, we're still above our 30-day moving average. So this is relatively still strong, okay, but it is getting closer to that moving average and sidelining, okay? So ultimately, it's still a high probability trade to buy it on the bottom side. Just be aware that if it falters somewhere in the 48,000, it could break lower. So that's something to consider. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day.